Blanck is an electronic producer who came through with a fantastic album in 2017, World Eater. I still feel like there were a lot of people that weren't that into that album, but over time it really grew on me a lot, and I began to really see the absolute quality that was in the music on that thing. Although Blanck is an electronic producer, you could attach a million names to his style because he just covers absolutely everything: industrial, electropop, noise, deconstructed club, even IDM if you want to add that one in there too. And I just generally love his style. I mean, this album on first listen was pretty damn great, but I kind of had a bit of a weird relationship with it, as it took a few listens more to kind of see whether I loved it as much as I thought I did on first listen. And I've ultimately come to the conclusion that yes, this is freaking great. Aside from the fact that I think that Blanck is essentially in his own lane right now, obviously there are people out there that do what he does possibly equally as well, but I think the blend of all the different styles and sounds makes Blanck definitely a unique artist of our time. I think there's a possibility here though that you're not going to love Animated Violence Mild as much as World Eater, because honestly, in terms of the styles, he is going for very similar things, but I would say with this one, it feels much more straight to the point, whereas World Eater was a bit more of a progressive listen. I would say World Eater was a bit more of a progressive sound for Blanck whereas I think here on this new album, Animated Violence Mild, he's definitely playing to his strengths more, and I think he's keeping it straight to the point, which makes for a great listen anyway. House versus House, the best example of that. It just follows a very like trancey, banging industrial house beat, and it just hits so damn hard. And the melodies that come through on this one are really fantastic too. The clashing synths that come through are very tasty, and the vocal samples that are thrown in with the are really damn good as well. I could definitely see those vocals getting annoying for some people, because generally that kind of thing annoys me a little bit too. That kind of like pitched down, manipulated voiceover that can sometimes like ruin a song. But for me on this track, I think it works really well. The track Death Drop is some deathcore mixed with house music. I think it comes together incredibly well. The fact that he makes this work is honestly really impressive, and he deserves a lot of props, I think, for managing to blend these styles together in such a great way. I mean, Jesus Christ, do you remember Asking Alexandria? Like, that shit was horrendous, and it always made me think that mix of sounds is never ever gonna work. Shit like Blood on the Dance Floor too, like, nah. But Blanck bringing these together, he needs so much praise for getting it right. Just this song alone should not work for what it's doing, and yet it comes almost immediately on the album, and it doesn't ruin anything, it doesn't change my perception of it. The flow isn't shaky or anything like that. It just fits. I don't know how he manages to get it right. I wouldn't say it's quite as mind-blowing as something that Camellia did on Heart of Android, which came out last year, and I only discovered this recently, but it still works for what it is, and it's still very impressive. The stompiness of Love is a Parasite is an incredibly freaking intense song. It makes you feel like you're in the middle of some kind of war, and everything is just exploding in your sight, and the world is ending before your eyes. Creature and West Fuqua, not sure how you pronounce that, is one of the more impressive tracks, because it comes right after Love is a Parasite, and everything is just calming down really slowly. And then when you get into that second half, I'm really impressed with like the melody that he comes through here. It really is very twinkly and soft, and it's just crazy how he can just make everything so intense and wild just a few tracks before, and he can still slow things down really to a halt on this one, and it sounds almost beautiful, honestly. It's very calming and soothing. Again, I'm just giving him props here for managing to just completely switch the style of the music and still make it sound as good as it does. The next track, No Dice, I would say it's probably the least impressive track, to be honest, because I guess he's not really doing anything he hasn't already done on the rest of the album for this one, and it's just to a less impressive extent. I mean, that industrial drum pattern does kind of get old and stiff after a little while, but then that final track is very dense and just completely in your face that you're back to just being blown away by Blank Mass once again. It's very aggressive, but it feels like the perfect ending to what this album was going for in the first place, so you can't really say no to it. So yeah, as you can tell, I think this album's great. I mean, at some points on the album, it's very cinematic, and the production value is just so fantastic that you can't really deny his talent, even if you were to listen to this and not really enjoy it all that much. What I'm trying to say is that I think people are at least going to come out of this album appreciating it, even if you don't particularly love it yourself. But even still, I think it's pretty damn great anyway. I'm going to go 8 out of 10. My anticipation was not let down for this album. I've been excited for it for a little while, and I'm impressed. I'm happy with what I got here. Blank Mass killing it again. Maybe not quite as good as World Eater, but I don't think it needs to be because it's a very different album anyway. Thank you for watching my review. Thank you for listening to what I have to say. Tell me what you think of this album in the comments. Have a good day, and goodbye.